Have you ever held in your hand a single cent that could be worth nearly $50 million, the kind of coin that turns heads and sends collectors into a frenzy and makes people question every penny jingling in their pocket? Imagine a 1977 1-cent United States coin, so rare, so shrouded in rumors and legends that some believe one particular specimen has been appraised at a staggering $47 million, an astronomical figure for something whose face value is literally 1 cent, and today we're diving deep into the history, mystery, controversies, and possibilities surrounding that coin, peeling back layers of numismatic lore, exaggerated claims, expert appraisals, and legal mysteries, and we'll ask whether any of it is real or just a dream, and if it's real, what it would mean for coin collectors, for history, for legal ownership, and for the way ordinary objects become priceless. Picture the United States Mint in 1977, producing pennies as usual, millions of them every day, for commerce, for small change, for traffic meters, parking meters, soda machines, children's allowance, tipping, bus fare. People jingle pennies for luck, drop them under couches, they accumulate in jars, slowly increasing in weight, until someone washes them, polishes them, dismisses them, or discovers something extraordinary, something that defies the assumption that pennies are worthless. Now fast forward decades. Someone claims to have a 1977 1-cent coin, not just any coin, but an era coin. A pattern coin, a striking so defective or so remarkable that it stands apart from all ordinary 1977 pennies, a coin whose rarity is so great that only 1 or 2 examples, or perhaps none confirmed, might exist outside legends. This coin is alleged to be worth $47 million. How did that number come about? Who said it? What evidence supports it? And what are the objections? To understand that, we need to explore what makes a coin valuable: rarity, condition, provenance, demand, historical significance, legal status, authentication. Most pennies are extremely common, even rare mint-era pennies only fetch hundreds, thousands, maybe low millions in exceptional cases, but tens of millions is extraordinary, almost disbelief. So stories emerge, some from collectors, some from sellers, some from internet pages, others from auction house rumors, and many of them inflate, confuse, misinterpret, or outright fabricate, but even among exaggeration there may be kernels of truth. Because known coins have sold for record-breaking prices, and rare mistrikes or pattern coins or prototype coins sometimes fetch millions, so is it possible that a 1977 1-cent coin could exist that commands $47 million? Some claim the coin is a pattern coin minted as a trial or artist's piece, or perhaps struck in gold or some different metal, or perhaps bearing a double die, misengraver's error, or some exotic variation, and that the specimen in question is in pristine condition, perhaps MES 70 or better, perfectly preserved, never circulated, stored away, never touched. Others claim it has an extraordinary provenance, perhaps tied to a famous collector, perhaps discovered in hidden mint archives, or confiscated in a seizure, or inherited from a secret stash. Such tales fuel the mystique, but experts caution. There is no verifiable record of a 1977 1-cent coin being sold for $47 million, no major auction house catalog, no consensus in numismatic references, no certified specimen with that value, and no accepted grading that supports such a claim. People have misattributed value, mistaken pattern coins, misread certificates, been victims of phishing scams or clickbait, or been misled by promotional material. Even extraordinary coins like rare $1,794, finest known coins of U.S. colonial or early Republic era, have fetched tens of millions. But in those cases the historical record, the rarity, the demand are well documented. In contrast, the 1977 penny is common, minted in the tens or hundreds of millions, typical compositions, typical designs, and conditions, so if one rare variant exists, it would likely be due to error or experimental striking, or possible unauthorized striking. Even then, authentication is difficult. Collectors insist on PCGS or NGC certification, provenance documentation, X-ray fluorescence if metal composition is odd, microscopic analysis if dye markers exist, imaging, comparison with known examples. Those verifying bodies have no credible listing of a 1977 penny valued at $47 million. Many believe the claim is a myth, perhaps started by social media posts, videos, clickbait, chain messages, or even unscrupulous dealers seeking to attract attention. But myths persist because people want to believe a tiny lost coin, a penny in broad daylight, could be a fortune, could change a life. So what if someone truly owned such a coin? How would they prove it, insure it, sell it, and what legal constraints exist? U.S. law may treat certain mint property differently. Patterns may be government property, or historically something that never entered circulation may remain property of the government, but if a specimen was released legitimately or via some mint error and is now in private hands, it could be traded, auctioned, insured, but only if its authenticity withstands scrutiny, and only if there are bidders willing to pay tens of millions. Even wealthy collectors or institutions would need to be convinced. There's also risk of forgery, counterfeit, false grading, fraud. The burden of proof is high. One must produce the coin, get it graded, documented, its history traced, its status publicly verified. Sometimes sellers claim a coin is unique or extremely rare when it's not, or when examples exist but are misrepresented. Sometimes conditions are overstated, minting errors are misdescribed, double dies are confused with repunched mint marks, pattern coins are confused with proof coins, and composition differences misstated. So every extraordinary claim demands extraordinary evidence. Mathematically, an ordinary 1977 penny is worth face value, maybe 1 cent, in circulated condition value slightly above face for collectors due to age and condition. Rare error pennies may be worth hundreds or thousands, but nowhere in established sales has a 1977 1 cent reached anywhere near tens of millions. Thus the claim of $47 million is almost certainly false or massively exaggerated. But that doesn't stop YouTube videos, social media influencers, clickbait headlines, internet forums from repeating the tale, from showing blurry photos, from invoking emotional hooks, from saying, "This coin was found in grandma's attic, you won't believe its value, this penny sells for $50 million, all to get clicks, subscribers, views." Some may even market replicas, novelty items, or certificate of authenticity, without much backing. In real numismatic research, specialists in U.S. mint issues, error coins, pattern coins, rare assignable coins, have databases, reference works, past auction catalogs, price guide values, hoard sales, and none list a verified 1977 penny fetching $47 million. So until such evidence appears, the story remains legend. But legends matter. People love treasure stories, stories of fortune hiding in plain sight, stories of a penny becoming fortune. They stimulate the imagination, the dream of sudden wealth, the romance of history, the idea that one's casual possession might hide a fortune, that keeps myths alive. And even if the specific $47 million claim is false, the idea draws attention to real rare coins, to how minting works, to errors, to the beauty of coin collecting. And perhaps someone somewhere truly does own something extraordinary, maybe an undocumented specimen, maybe misfiled in archives, maybe forgotten in a safe, perhaps someday authenticated, displayed, auctioned. Until then the story is cautionary: research, skepticism, verification, provenance, expert opinion. So the headline, 1 cent 1977 USA coin face value $47 million worth big money in history, is great for clicks. It spreads fast, people share it, speculate, dream, but behind it, check the facts, demand documentation, ask for certified grading, past auction records, condition, rarity, metal composition, legal status, ownership history. And that's where truth and myth diverge. If you enjoyed this deep dive into myth versus reality in the coin world, if you believe even small things can hold great value, or just like mysterious treasure stories, then like and subscribe for more investigations, more dives into legends and facts, more stories where everyday items might hide incredible worth, because who knows, maybe the next 1 cent coin in your pocket is the next legend. Next. Have you ever imagined stumbling upon a coin so ordinary, stamped with such mundane precision, that it looks like every other penny in your pocket, yet hiding a secret so staggering, so mind-boggling, that its very existence challenges everything you thought you knew about money, value, history, rarity, chance, luck, greed, and the dreams every collector harbors in those quiet moments when no one is watching? Picture a 1 cent coin, dated 1996 with the mint mark D, minted in Denver. A coin so unremarkable at first glance that nobody could believe that among millions upon millions of its siblings, one example, just one perfect specimen, could command a value that soars into the stratosphere, whispered about in hushed tones in collector circles, debated on internet forums, compared to obscurities and legendary rarities like the 1933 double eagle or the flowing hair silver dollars. A coin that people claim is worth a staggering $24 million simply because of its pristine condition, its flawlessness, its unbelievably perfect strike, its spotless surfaces reflecting light like a mirror, its edges sharp as though cut just moments ago, its luster so pure that it seems not merely minted but born for greatness, born to stand apart. And now the legend goes that someone, somewhere, has such a coin, or will have it, or will reveal it, and the moment of revelation will send ripples through the hobby, through the financial world, through dreams of penny pinchers, numismatic neophytes, investment speculators, and anyone who ever found a coin in the couch cushions and wondered what if. The story begins with the coin itself, the 1990 61 cent, a Lincoln cent, composed of copper-plated zinc by that time, mass-produced, one of billions, meant for pocket change, gas station timers, vending machines, everyday trivial exchange. But this particular coin, in rumor or in myth, is purported to be in such mint state condition, with perfect alignment, zero imperfections under magnification, ideal centering, full detail in Lincoln's hair, in the wheat stalks on the reverse or the Union shield, depending which design, the color unblemished, no detracting marks, no toning or discoloration, sort of coin that grade houses like PCGS or NGC might give the absolute highest grade imaginable, perfect, or gem ultra cameo, or some such near impossibility, maybe even an error-free example of a coin type that typically shows wear, that typically shows microscopic abrasions, that typically shows environmental damage or human hand, fingerprints, boxes, humidity, oxidation. Then someone must claim, that this perfect specimen sold or could sell for $24 million, based not just on its face value, 1 cent, but on collector desire, on rare availability, on a confluence of perfect grade, prestige, myth, provenance. Such claims spread, rumors online, social media posts, numismatic blogs, YouTube conspiracy-style videos, enthusiasts scratching their heads, doubters demanding photos, experts asking for pedigreed grading reports, coin dealers speculating about authentication, about certification marks, about comparables. And the hook, is this coin worth more than your house? More than your life savings? More than Bitcoin? More than a Picasso painting? The story amplifies. Some say it was recently discovered in a mint packaging sheet that no one opened, or in a bank roll that somehow avoided handling, or in a collector's rare box, or kept hidden in a secret drawer. Maybe someone bought it decades ago for face value, spent it by accident, or maybe it survived in perfect condition because it never left a vault. The mythology builds. Postings of alleged auction catalogs show a starting bid at $20 million, reserve at $22, final sale at $24 million. Watermarks of photos, certificates showing holograms, serial numbers, mint records may be missing, weird discrepancies, speculation that the Denver Mint made one perfect cent that outshines every other, maybe the last perfect example of its kind, maybe uniquely perfect, maybe with some microscopic die polish lines that only show under magnification, adding to its intrigue. Meanwhile, skeptics dig in. Does this coin exist? Has it been graded? What is its certification number? Has anyone seen it? Do mint records show that any 1996 penny was preserved in uncirculated perfect mint state or better? What is its population in high grades? What is rarity relative to known examples? Is it an error coin? Is it simply a fairy tale, a rumor, a marketing stunt? Yet the legend persists, because human beings love stories of hidden treasure, ordinary things becoming extraordinary, pennies becoming fortunes, chance and luck shifting someone's destiny. In every myth there is some kernel of truth. Some 1996 cents were minted, many uncirculated pieces exist, some in gorgeous condition, some in high grade, some showed die variances, some popped in PCGS 69 or 70, and GC 70, maybe one specimen graded as a 70, maybe just one, maybe someone says, I have seen a 1996 Ultra Cameo 70. Maybe someone claims in a video, I have the coin, but cannot show it publicly, or only via social media photo, or in a dark case, or with neighbor's phone video. The attention explodes, forums post photos, side-by-side comparisons, melted down pennies, mint departments blacked out, conspiracy theories. People begin comparing, only one in the world, arguments, hidden gem, pristine for centuries, talk of storage, climate control, professional conservation, impact of toning or fingerprint, microscopic abrasions. Then emerge technicalities, grading standards, environmental wear, shipping scratches, lighting, coin flips, die cracks, planchet quality, mint errors, strike pressure, coin alignment, rim strength, doubling, luster, toning, eye appeal. Collectors demand a certificate of authenticity, they demand provenance, they demand published photos, third-party verification. But still the myth spreads. $24 million, repeated on numismatic podcasts, on Reddit, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, with hashtags like hashtag #PennyMillionaire, hashtag 1996DPenny, hashtag legendary cent, hashtag worth millions. Videos titled, "This 1 cent coin is worth more than your car," go viral. Influencers show generic pennies side by side with allegedly perfect ones, comparing light reflections. People scratch the surfaces, coins under magnifiers. Expert voices come on, saying it's impossible such value unless all criteria met. Counterpoints: there's no record of any such transaction at that price. No auction house has delivered. No insurance appraisal exists for $24 million. Maybe someone misread a zero, maybe someone conflated a hoard of coins. But then, just when skepticism seems about to crash the idea, someone claims a twist. Maybe there are 2, maybe 3 examples, but only one viewable publicly. Or maybe the coin sold off the books, private sale, no auction. Maybe the buyer is a private collector, identity withheld. Maybe papers sealed. Maybe mint records show mint on a specific die that is off-center in a way that gives full perfection in photos, but hard to replicate. Public imagination takes over. News outlets pick up the story. Coin blogs write long posts. Value My Coin websites speculate. Appraisers get calls. Insurance companies get interest. The coin becomes a symbol, not just a coin, a symbol of value, of potential, of dreams that change nothing until you hold something rare. People who never thought about coins find themselves scouring their pocket change, looking under their furniture, in coin jars, in childhood piggy banks, wondering if they have something worth more than gold. Meanwhile, experts issue caution: coins must be graded by reputable firms. Authenticity, condition, provenance. The price is only as good as the credibility of the evidence. There is always risk of fraud, of misattribution, of misphotography, of exaggerated claims. But still the story sells, because hope sells. And in the rare cases where real numismatic rarities have sold for millions, sometimes tens of millions, the precedent seems to make belief possible, even if unlikely. So people argue, could a 1996 cent reach $24 million? If one specimen is truly perfect beyond anything known, if it's graded 70+ with proof, if its eye appeal rivals the finest coins ever seen, if demand is high, if someone wealthy wants it, the auction house might set a reserve high, the bidding might escalate. Maybe someone pays that much. Maybe never publicly disclosed but rumored. And until proven, the legend grows, maybe in private hands, maybe hidden, maybe never seen by the public. That's what makes it trending, what makes it viral, what makes people hit share, hit like, hit subscribe, because the idea that something so small, so everyday, could be worth millions, that the value of a penny could transcend its face value by factors of millions, it's irresistible. So whether the coin is real or myth, whether someone will prove it or always leave us wondering, the story persists as one of the great legends of numismatics, a coin worth $24 million, face value 1 cent, a testament to rarity, desire, and belief that sometimes, just sometimes, something ordinary is extraordinary. If you ever find a 1996 penny, hold it, examine it, get it graded, because maybe you hold the one. Like, subscribe. Ending point. Last. Today we're diving deep into the astonishing story of the 2005 1 cent, a coin that in certain rare forms has a price tag that seems almost unbelievable, $6 million, because of its errors and its mistakes, and the staggering rarity and demand that those errors produce, and we'll explore every twist and turn of that journey so you can understand exactly why this penny is more than just copper, more than just a coin, more than just a cent, it's become a legend. So settle in, whether you're grabbing a snack or just a cup of coffee, because this is going to be a long and fascinating ride, full of details that you may never have heard before, error types that cross the boundaries between accidental and mythic, grading controversies, auction stories, theories, possibilities, comparisons with other coins, and a lot more. The 2005 1 cent was minted in Denver, hence the D, alongside its counterparts in Philadelphia and San Francisco, and for most people, all 1 cent coins are just low-denomination change, easy to overlook, easy to dismiss, maybe get washed in pockets, maybe thrown in jars, maybe lost under sofa cushions, but every once in a while, a coin emerges with flaws so dramatic, with mistakes so bizarre, with a backstory so unlikely, that collectors go crazy, and this coin is one of those. The errors we'll talk about: double die, off-center strikes, die cracks, missing mint mark, rotated dies, misaligned planchet, struck on wrong blank, lamination errors, and even completely missing elements. Each one by itself can make a coin worth tens or hundreds or thousands, but when a coin exhibits multiple errors, or an error of monumental proportion, under extremely rare conditions, grade, provenance, condition, demand, it can skyrocket into the millions. One key error attributed to some specimens of the 2005 D1 cent is a double die obverse, meaning that during the minting process the die used to strike the coin had been impressed more than once, or shifted between impressions, so the design is doubled in some areas, often noticeable in the date, the lettering, sometimes even in Lincoln's portrait. Such doubling can lead to severe misalignment, and collectors are obsessed with the sharpness and clarity of the doubling. Another mistake is an off-center strike. The coin blank, or planchet, wasn't perfectly aligned beneath the striking die, so parts of the design are missing, or trimmed off when struck. Imagine Lincoln's face clipped, or the 1 cent text missing letters because the die didn't cover the planchet fully. That alone can boost value, especially if the misalignment is moderate, say 25%, 50%, or more, but if it's extreme, that's when things get especially interesting. Then there are die cracks, tiny fractures in the die that leave raised lines on the coin, veiny rivers of imperfection that sometimes run through Lincoln's profile or cross the reverse fields. Normally these are minor, often considered detractive, but in rare cases the cracks themselves become features that testify to the uniqueness of the coin's life. Also missing mint marks. If the D on the coin, which indicates Denver Mint, is missing, because the die didn't have the mark or wore it away, that coin becomes far more scarce indeed and very valuable, particularly for modern pennies where mint marks are almost always correct. Add to that rotated dies. Sometimes the obverse and reverse dies are not aligned perfectly relative to each other, so you might flip the coin and find the back looks upside down or rotated at some angle, 90, 180 degrees, etc. That also is an unusual type of error sought by collectors. Then misaligned planchets, meaning the blank metal disc was not properly centered under the press. Sometimes the blank may be clipped or partially off, resulting in partial design elements or uneven rims. Also, some coins have been struck on the wrong blank material, so instead of a copper-plated zinc or whatever was standard that year, maybe a blank meant for another denomination or another alloy got used in error, which can drastically change the appearance, weight, color, even magnetic properties. Lamination errors, where the metal itself peels or flakes due to impurities or internal flaws, can also make for dramatic visuals. And sometimes completely missing elements. Maybe the date didn't strike, maybe the mint mark didn't strike, maybe some letters are missing. Now with the 2005 D1 cent, what makes it so enormously valuable, up to $6 million, is not just one error but a combination of several, plus conditions of preservation, plus rarity, plus demand. Suppose you have a coin with a double die obverse so pronounced that letters are clearly doubled, date doubled, maybe the D mint mark, plus you have an off-center strike of perhaps 50% or more, plus a missing mint mark or a partial missing mint mark, plus perhaps a misaligned die rotation so that when you flip the coin, the back is misoriented relative to the front. And further suppose that this coin is in near perfect condition, very high grade, minimal wear, crisp edges, full luster. That combination is vanishingly rare. Collectors who chase error coins prize that convergence. And then auctions come into play. If that coin has credible provenance, known history, chain of ownership, grades assigned by top grading services like PCGS or NGC, certified photos, authentication, then bidders will trust its authenticity and condition, and that drives up the price. Remember, coin collecting is a marketplace with passionate collectors who sometimes will pay astronomical sums for the rarest, the most dramatic errors. The possibility that one specimen of the 2005 D1 cent exhibits all these errors together is what people whisper about, what numismatic forums speculate over, what catalogs list as perhaps the most valuable modern penny ever. Now, some critics will question whether such a coin actually exists, or whether it's mainly theoretical or a hoax or a coin misrepresented. And in many cases, that's fair. They demand photographic proof, multiple expert exams, traceable provenance. There have been lost coins, found in drawers, found under furniture, sometimes misattributed or misidentified, sometimes altered. Those raise controversies. Is the error genuine or a fabrication? Is the coin cleaned or altered to hide defects or to simulate error? Grading services are stringent about cleaning, polishing, repairs. A coin that has been tampered with loses much of its value, sometimes becomes worthless to serious collectors. So for the 2005 D1 cent to command $6 million, it would need an unassailable set of credentials, multiple error types, perfect condition, perfect authentication, very limited duplication, possibly only one known, a unique specimen, or maybe two but one is less perfect. And the theories surrounding how such a coin could be minted involve minting process anomalies. Maybe during a rushed production run, a damaged die was used, mint workers replaced parts incorrectly, blanks meant for other denominations or other years got mixed in, misfeeds in the blank hoppers, human error in aligning blanks, die rotation errors due to worn alignment pins, mint mark punching mistakes, training issues, or oversight. Environmental factors could play a role too: temperature, metal composition anomalies, impurities in the alloys, planchets improperly annealed, or prepared incorrectly, causing lamination or cracks. The possibility that someone found this coin in circulation is small, because coins with such dramatic errors often are caught earlier when mint inspectors or early-stage quality control reject many flawed coins, but sometimes pieces slip through, especially in modern coins when quality control is deeply layered, but human oversight can never be perfect. And when one of these coins emerges, perhaps in an estate sale, perhaps inherited, perhaps in a dusty collection or forgotten vault, it becomes the kind of discovery that makes headlines. And once it's advertised, many will want to see images, certificates, prior sales, comparisons with known examples. A few specimens might have surfaced with some of these errors, but none documented with the full set and with the sharpest grade. That's why the $6 million price is speculative, but anchored in precedent. There are coins known to have sold for millions because of unique errors, or combinations of error and rarity. This coin, the 2005 D1 cent with monumental error, becomes something of a holy grail. And in assessing value, condition is everything: wear, scratches, toning, edges, strike quality, metal purity, and even the aesthetic appeal. Does the error look dramatic? Does it catch the eye? Does the coin still have luster or has it been corroded? A coin with lesser condition, even with multiple errors, might still only reach hundreds of thousands, not millions. But a specimen that ticks every box: rare error types, dramatic visual appeal, perfect or near perfect grading, assured authenticity, documented provenance, could cross into million-dollar territory. Then there's demand. How many collectors want such an item, and how badly? Some may bid for prestige, some for display, some as investments. Auction houses may promote it with big fees, making exposure greater, pushing the price up. Potential buyers from around the world get involved. Also, media coverage adds to myth and value.